All right, Shalom to the elect of Israel. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. And what I said was all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh, who is the Heavenly Father, whom the world ignorantly calls God, in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, who is the Messiah, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, in the name of the Holy Spirit, which in Hebrew is Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. And this lesson, is going into how, basically, you should really be, crying out. We should be crying out, all right? This goes to myself as well, but going into how, we're looking at this law right here, and I was watching an old video by, Elder Yashawamba, where he had mentioned something like this, or he had mentioned, something along these lines, right? I'm going to go into it, right? But we have to be that damsel that cries out, man, okay? Because in these times, you got this devil, Esau, right? He's coming with that MOTB, man, that C-hip, right? And as we know, all right, let me get it. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. You see, so the hour of temptation, which is when the MOTB, the C-hip, is made mandatory for everyone to take. All right, that's a time that's going to come upon the entire world, right, including all of Israel. Us Israelites. This time is going to be upon us, right? So this devil, he is he's going to eventually he's going to implement that MOTB, right? So let me go back here to Deuteronomy. Now, another thing you should know, actually before I get that, another thing you should understand is that we as Israelites, we're the Lord's woman, okay? So to speak, right? We're the Lord's woman, man. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. See? Precept, Isaiah 54 and 5. For thy maker, Yahweh, is thine husband, and Yahweh of hosts is his name. And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth, shall he be called. See, so our husband is the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. All right? And so, and we as Israelites, we're his woman. Okay? And really we're married to the Lord. All right? And you might ask how? Because of the old covenant. Covenant is an agreement. When you get married, you make an agreement. You see? So, with that being said, right? Now, let me just get this. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, and verse 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, right? The adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Right? Now, we know that, this is talking about, if someone commits adultery, if a man and woman commits adultery, the man and woman that committed adultery is to be put to death, right? When a man commits adultery by laying with another man's woman, right? A woman commits adultery by laying with a man that's not her husband. You see? While she has a husband and she lays with another man, right? That's adultery. If she's dealing with a man and she lays with another man, that's adultery. So knowing that, right? Once again, we're the Lord's woman. See? And he's our husband, basically. So we go to Deuteronomy 22, right? Now this is an actual law, okay? That back in the ancient world, all right, in case the situation and this, these verses here from basically, really 28, 29, GMS, we have caught a lot of, false accusations, right? But basically, you got to understand that these are, laws, okay? So in case these type of things happened, right, we have instructions on how to deal with them from the Lord, okay? We Israelites, we didn't make up the laws ourselves, all right? But I want to focus on verses 25 to 27, right? So now it says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, right? A damsel, of course, being a woman, particularly a young woman, right? Betrothed is basically, a woman that is promised to a man in marriage. Okay, let me just see if I can pull that up real quick. No. Right. Now this word betrothed here, okay, is arash, and it says to betroth, engage. Right. Under the Strong's definition, it says to engage for matrimony, betroth, a spouse. Now, engage, you look it up, right? Under number 3, it says arrange to employ a hire, pledge, or enter into a contract to do something. Right. When you would meaning this woman, right, is set to marry this man. Okay. Let me just look up the word betroth itself. It says enter into a formal agreement to marry, right? So it says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, a woman, right, that is betrothed, promised to another man to marry, right? So technically, she's his woman, right? So, it says in the field, and the man forced her and lie with her, meaning, he grapes her, okay? And keep in mind that this woman, right, is a betrothed woman, a woman that is promised to another man to marry. So, you can say that once again that she's his woman, right? It says then the man only that lay with her shall die. You see, because and it breaks down why, okay? Because look, this is technically this is basically adultery, okay? A man that goes and forces himself on another man's woman, right? It's basically that's adultery, So verse 26, but unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. Why? It says there is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, right? And you're going to see why. It says that for as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. Verse 27, for he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. NLT, for the man found the young woman out in the country, and though the betrothed woman screamed, there was no one to rescue her. So in this situation, right, you would have a man that would find a woman that was, a man forcing himself on a woman that was already promised to another man to marry, right? You would put the man to death in this situation, right? And not the damsel. Why? Because she cried out. She cried out. Why? Because she didn't want that to happen. She didn't like. She wasn't with that. She wasn't down with that. You see. And there was no one to save her. But relating it to us, okay, this devil, the so-called white man, Esau, right? He's about to come with, his MOTB, right? He's going to try to force himself on the Lord's woman. Remember, he calls it all, both small. He's going to mandate it. Let me see if I can look up the word mandate, man. All right. It says mandate, an official order or commission to do something, right? The authority to carry out a policy or course of action. All right. Let me just see if it says it right away. All right, let me type in the word mandatory. All right, maybe that'll, I'm trying to get mandatory. It says required by law or rules, compulsory, right? So mandatory is basically when someone says you have to do something. And in these times to come, this devil, all right, because they're in power, they make the laws and everything, and the Lord has set it up this way, they are going to eventually make it mandatory, all right, for everyone to take this charagma. You see? Including the Lord's woman, aka Israel. So this devil is going to try to force himself upon the Lord's woman, Israel. You see? The Israelites. Right? Because we're going to be caught up. Well, let me just say that this time is going to happen, all right? And there are going to be a lot of Israelites out here that take that MOTB, man. Even, probably some of our family members, some of your family members, right? So this devil is going to try to force himself upon the Lord's woman, you see? But the thing is, even though we know this, he's going to do that, he's not going to get the elect, okay? Because the elect of Israel, they're not going to get touched by this, you see? Because think about it, right? Talking about this devil forcing himself on the Lord's woman with this charagma. When a man forces himself on a woman and grapes her, what does he do? He penetrates her, right? As we mature here. So this devil, when he, comes down with that, how do they have to give that to you? It has to cut into your flesh, penetrate your skin. You see? This devil's going to try to force himself on the Lord's woman, man. Okay? And the elect, they're going to cry out against this. They're not trying to, the elect ain't going to get charagma'd up. You see? They're not going to get sea-hipped, no matter what. All right? Whereas the rest of the nation of Israel, they're going to feel like, okay, they got to take it, to continue living in society. They're going to feel like they have to take it, right? Because they're not going to be willing to give up all this luxurious lifestyle that they have, and this comfortability that they have within society. They're not willing to be separated, as it says in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which is, the system, all right, that we live in, this whole Romanized system of society, is that the image of the beast should both speak, right? Speaking because, how is it speaking? Because we're, the words that's written in here, this society, coming back is Rome and everything. Okay, it's here. We're living in it, right? It says, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast, meaning those that don't get down with this system, okay, and where it's going, which is it's going what? It's going towards that sea hit, that chip, right? That's where it's headed to, right? It says should be killed, and they're gonna pass, laws saying that we can't speak the way that we do, all right, or you could be put to death. But also, kill doesn't only mean that, right? When you go into the etymology of that word killed, it's apo, right? And it says of separation, right? Getting right to the point. It says of any kind of separation of one thing from another, by which the union or fellowship with the two is destroyed. So, in other words, you will be outcasted. If you're not down with the system, right? You don't take that C-hip, okay, you're going to get outcasted. And the majority of our people are not willing to be outcasted from society. You see? They're going to want to stay and have all these comfortabilities that they have, right? But the elect, they not. All right? They don't mind, okay? Because they know what this is all about, and they know if they take that C-hip, man, it's over with. You see? If you, listen, we as the Lord's woman, if you take that charagma, you are basically turning your back on your husband, all right, the Lord, and you're telling this other man, Esau, that you want him to be your God forever, man, okay? Because look, once again, Revelation 13 and 16. Hold on, Revelation 13 and 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now we know that word mark, we know what it is, which is the chip, right? But when you go to it, All right. It says a stamp, an imprinted mark, right? But it says of the mark stamped on the forehead of the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. Now we know, ain't gonna be no, one Antichrist out here. Okay, we know that's not what it's talking about, right? But the point I'm trying to get is how this charagma, I mean, if you take it, it's gonna be like a it's gonna be like a it's like basically once it, you're basically telling Esau you want him to be your master forever, all right, and you want him to be a god over you, right? Because let me get it. I'm gonna keep reading verse 17 and 18, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? Number is 666, of course, okay, and the name, because the thing is, right, when you go into this word 603 score 6, right, it says, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and 6. Okay, now when you go here, it's chi psi stigma, right? Now when you look up stigma, right, Strong's G4742 stigma, now it says what? A mark pricked in or branded upon the body, right? And they're going to give you that chip. That's how they got to do it. They have to go inside of your skin. You have to prick your skin to give it to you. It says to ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked. In other words, cut. Let me read it again. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded. See, they bore the name of the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, or in other words, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their god. So back then, they would have some type of cut or brand on their body, right, that indicated the master they belonged to. You see, now with this charagma, right, you take it, Esau is basically putting his name on you. Okay, you take that, right, you're saying you want him to be your master forever. Let me get that, because you had a system back in the ancient world, when we had our land like this, right? This is the book of Exodus 21 in verse 5 through 6. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges, right? So, if back then, you have a Hebrew servant, all right? And he said, he loved his master, the guy he was working for, right? Verse 6, it says, Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And an awl is like an ice pick. Okay? So once they had, pricked or cut, into your ear with that ice pick, right? Basically, that was a sign that, that master that you served, you were his servant forever, and he was your master forever. Now the same thing is when you take this charagma, right? You basically telling Esau you want to be his slave forever, man. You see, and Esau will have forced himself on you. Okay, he would have giving you his mark, put his name on you, all of that. You see. Just like how when a man lays down with a woman, right? He puts his name on her. Okay, she takes on his name. Okay, when Esau gives you this charagma, you're gonna take on his name, basically. When really, as Israelites, once again, we are the woman of the Lord. So, and like the scripture said in Leviticus 20. The adulterer, meaning the man who committed adultery, laid with another man's woman, right? And in this case, As this context, Esau giving a chip, to the Israelites who going to take it, right? It says, and the adulteress, the woman, all right, Israel, the Israelites that do take it, right? Basically, both of them going to have to be put to death, man. So when the Lord comes back, okay, you took that chip, man, all right? Hey, you took that chip, man, you're going to die. All right, it's just as simple as that. All right, straightforward. The Lord is going to destroy you. Okay, and these devils too. All right, these different devils are going to get caught up in the destruction that's coming. All right, but see, the elect, that's the difference, man. The elect ain't gonna, do that, man. You see, because as a woman, man, if you belong to another man and he's trying to force himself on you, you're supposed to reject that. If you as a woman belong to another man, right, and another man is trying to come and force himself on you, you're supposed to reject that, man. You see, you're not supposed to get with that, right? And that's the case with the elect. The elect are going to be rejecting all of this, even to the point of death, man. Revelation 20:4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast. They weren't down with the system, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. See? And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. See that? So they weren't down with none of this. All right? They stayed faithful to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. They stayed faithful, man. You see? And we living in these times where this is going, man, look. We're living in these times where this charagma is coming, man. It's on its way. It's on its way, man. All right? This charagma is on its way. All right? All these cashless advances, everything going digital currency this, digital currency that. This time is coming, and it has to be before Yahushua comes back. Okay, just know but the elect are gonna, be screaming. They're gonna be crying out against this. Okay, they're not gonna be down with it. None of that. You see, and I was just thinking, like, in the times to come, man, you're really gonna have to have that spirit of, you're not following, what the wicked is doing. Exodus 23:2, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause of decline after many to rest judgment. You see? We can't be following the crowd, because a lot of people are going to be taking it, man. A lot of people. And you have to be resolute. Ingrain it in your mind now. All right? That you're not taking that chip, no matter the circumstances. Ingrain that in your mind now, man. No matter the circumstances, it doesn't matter who says what, your family member, your mother, your wife, your child, another brother, okay? And a true brother ain't gonna tell you this, take that, but just stressing the importance of, under no circumstances to take that charagma, because if you take it, you could just consider yourself dead. Don't even think about getting on a chariot. Don't think about getting beamed up. Don't think about getting saved from the nuclear destruction. Don't think about being don't think about getting a new body the first time. Don't think about it. Just be ready to be deceased. It's Revelation 14 and verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. So if any man, they down with the system and they take that charagma. Verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So you take that, right? You're going to get caught up in this nuclear destruction that's coming. You see? So you see how strict and very I'm trying to find the right word for it, but you see how intense it's going to be in these last days, to where the whole society around you is going to be saying, in order to operate in society, because right now, we live in society. You get to go to the store, get gas, buy your groceries, pay your rent, pay your bills and stuff like that. Have your phone, go here and there using public transit and all of that, right? It's going to come to a point to where society is going to say, in order for you to continue within this society, you will have to take this sihib. So it's either going to be that, or you take that, all right, and all chances of salvation is gone for you. Now you are just going to be a dead man walking, right? Or you can trust in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Trust that he said he's going to keep you from the hour of temptation, all right? Because he said that, right? He's going to be protecting us. Basically, he's going to, and also really a deep, basically the Lord, he's going to put the spirit on us not to take it, okay? To take that sihib, right? But the Lord going to be taking care of us and all of that. So either you can submit to Esau, take that sihib and get ready to die, or you can trust in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Trust he's going to be with you, all right, and say, to hell with that sihib, to hell with this society, and be outcasted, okay? Or if need be, even be put to death, okay? You see, and then you won't be living among society, but the Lord is going to be with you. You see? You're going to be like an outcast from society. You're going to be ostracized. Let me get that word, ostracized. So you see how intense it's going to be in these last days, man. And this is the final test. Because after, Yahweh Shai is going to come back. All right? I'm going to get Job 20 and 23 in a minute. But ostracize says exclude someone from a society or group. You see? So it's like you're going to, be killed, cut off. See, this is the last test, because in the midst of Esau, having his, getting everybody sihib and all of that, Yahweh Shai is coming back, man. Job 20 and 23, when he is about to fill his belly, when he saw, is about to, basically, fully establish that NWO, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, right? Meaning the Lord is going to send Yahweh Shai back. It says it shall rain it upon him while he is eating. All right, because part of that NWO was to get everyone sihib. So him eating, is him setting up his smart cities, him getting everyone sihib, karagmat up. So in the midst of all of that, Yahweh Shai is coming back, man. So you're gonna have to choose, man. You're gonna have to choose. Choose this day whom ye shall serve. Okay. Choose you this day whom ye shall serve. It's going to get real serious, okay? But the elect are going to get see him no matter what, all right? So just prepare, because these are the times that we are coming into very, very, very fast, all right? But and those that take it, that see him, are going to be involved in the second death. But those that don't and hold on to the faith, Yahweh Shai said this, Revelation 2 and 11. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. So you endure to the end. You won't have to go through, you won't have to go through that nuclear destruction, And part of that enduring is not taking that sihib no matter what. All right. So be that damsel, that cries out, that ain't down with, this whole thing. And really, we crying out, to the Lord to send Yahweh Shai back and to end this whole thing. Okay. And to cast Esau out of heaven, basically meaning take him out of rulership, man, right? By sending Yahweh Shai back. We want that, crying out to the Lord for that. So that's basically it. All right. Lord willing, us brothers are the elect, man. All right. We coming down to the end of the age, man. All right, we coming down to the very last seconds of this man's rulership, and it's going to get real chaotic and hectic. It's going to be a ride, man. A ride. We're gonna, it's going to be something. But if Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is with us, hey, man, I'm gonna get this, okay? Romans chapter 8, verse 38 to 39. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come. See, even including the hour of temptation, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us, including Esau, shall be able to separate us from the love of Yahweh, which is in the Mashiach Yahweh Shai, our Lord. So we are the elect. Nothing is going to be able to take us out of this truth, and not even the MOTB, to see him. All right, so with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, every well, peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.